Hey, welcome to another super not gay episode of If This Doesn't Work, I Will Literally Kill Myself. What up, Chris?
What's up, man?
Chris, man, how are you?
I've been good.
You good? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a
last
while.
time I seen you was like a cookout or something.
Yeah, probably something crazy.
Cookout.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won an award.
I did win an award.
What's that about? You're a soldier or something?
Sailor.
Navy. All right, so Navy guy.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
okay. So, Navy guy, dad, accomplished man. I heard you're in school.
I'm in school.
You're just like doing a lot.
I'm doing everything, man.
I know.
I'm doing everything.
How do you have the energy? You're a father, a fucking husband, probably got a side family.
Or two.
Yeah, right. You're busy.
Yeah, I'm busy. Busy a little bit, yeah.
Are you on drugs or what? Like, how the
wish.
fuck? Yeah,
I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not, though.
I'm probably supposed to be.
Yeah, but you're not?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
You just have always had the energy?
Yeah, so, I think having ADHD helps.
Oh, right.
I juggle a lot of balls. I'm just used to it.
Yeah.
Like
most people think it's like it deters a lot of people.
Right.
Or inhibits, you know?
Yeah. But I think it's more like a superpower.
Right.
Because like, it allows me to do a lot of different things at one time and just like hop between them. And when it's something I'm interested in, like I can like hyper focus.
Right. And then when it's something you're not, you can't at all.
Yep. Forget it.
That's the thing about the ADHD. It's like, if I give a fuck about, because sometimes I'll think I'm undisciplined.
Yeah.
Well, I am. But also, it's like, I don't give a fuck about most things.
Right.
If I care about something, I'm disciplined.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like, find something you give a fuck about, you know? So how long you been a sailor? And do you guys do any sailing? Is there any actual sailing?
I've never done any sailing, but so we do sailing. So
really?
There's ships that
sailboats?
So
a sailor, you're in the Navy.
Right. So I don't do the sail. So it's more of like when you're in the academy. So
right.
There's the academy for officers, right? So like that's our officer school. That's where we make our little baby officers.
In Annapolis, at the Naval Academy?
Yeah, Naval Academy. So they actually go on sailboats. They go sailing. That's part of their curriculum.
Really?
Yeah. They like.
Now you're not going to war in a fucking sailboat.
You're not. No, we're going on the ship.
It's just part of the It's like part of the process.
I think it's just more like heritage and history. That we're really big in tradition.
That makes sense.
All branches are. We're really big in tradition. So like, that part of the curriculum is just like learning how to sail, getting on sailboats.
Right.
They're gonna do that, like one summer out of their 4 years there. They're gonna be sailing.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you mentioned the other branches. Which branch is the gayest, you think?
Which branch is the gayest? I mean, it's probably going to be the Air Force.
Air Force?
It's got to be the Air Force. It's got to be the Air Force.
Coast Guard. Some
I
people...
was hoping you didn't say Coast Guard. That's like, I don't know why I defend them. I feel like everyone talks shit about them.
We don't say the Coast Guard, really, because we don't really include the Coast Guard.
Oh, shit.
He said they're so gay, we don't even talk about the Coast Guard. No, he didn't even include that in the branches. He's like, that's not really, it's more like a leaf.
Right, exactly.
The...
So, like, if the branches were siblings, the Coast Guard's like the step sibling that came along, like, after the fact.
Yeah, kind of. Like we call him our brother, but
like, yeah. But we'll fuck with them, but like no one else can.
Yeah. They're our retarded brother.
Exactly.
That's what's up. So how you been in it a while? You're like a lifer or something.
Yeah. I'm coming up on 18 years, man.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
So like, I think most people. Let me speak for myself. When I hear military, I think 4 years.
Right.
So when you're doing it, do you know when did you get in? How old were you then?
19. I did 1 year of college, and then
you said fuck this.
I still went back. A buddy of mine. So what happened was, I had always planned on joining the military. I come from a big military family.
Okay.
And
that's usually how it goes too. It's like,
right?
Because I ask people that. How did you get into it? Some people like watching a movie.
Yeah. So like, my dad's dad was Army. My dad's older brother was Army. His younger sister was Air Force. My mom's mom was Army. My mom's dad was Army.
Wow.
My mom's got 2 brothers. One was Navy. One was Army. So like, it was already there.
Oh yeah, it's in your blood.
And then my brother and I did Young Marines, which is like the Marines version of Boy Scouts.
Like ROTC or something?
Yeah,
it's like before that even?
Before that. It's like, so we started that.
Indoctrinating you all young.
I think I was 9 when I started Young Marines.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you go out into the woods and shit, you're rucking.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep. All kinds of crazy stuff.
So how is your brother older or younger
than you?
He's older.
So he's like a little over 2 years older.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys were in it together.
Yep.
Now, are you separated by age and shit, or you guys are just in there together? Like you guys got to rock together there?
No.
No, you're separated.
Because he was older when we did Young Marines, so like we're a little bit separated.
Right.
But like the big things like we normally do together, but like it was like pretty much age groups.
Right. And then how long does that last? The Young Marines, like can you just get in and out?
I think the youngest you can do is like 8. So I was like 9 when I joined, and it goes all the way up to 18.
Did you stay in it?
I didn't stay in that long. No, so we ended up moving and just like getting into other stuff. And then got into high school and I got into sports, so I just didn't have the time.
Pussy.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I mean, really, though. That's
exactly.
Yeah. People are into a lot of things and they get pussy. And
Exactly.
These wrestling figures kind of suck.
A lot of things kind of fall away.
Fact.
When you find girls, it's crazy. But so.
Did you know you were going to go in though?
I knew. I was like, all my upbringing.
Right. Yeah, and your parents wanted you to go in?
No, they didn't.
Really?
No.
Interesting.
They were not. So I didn't actually tell them.
Really? So you had to come out to them about the military?
I kind of snuck in there. So
they haven't seen you in a few weeks. So like
summer after freshman year of college, a buddy of mine that we went to school with, Tom Nabosky. I don't know if you know Tom from school. So
I barely went.
Yeah. We went to it's like the college version of senior week, but it was like before all the seniors get there because like that's when like college is out of school,
right?
Because they always got out earlier. So we did that in Ocean City.
That was lit.
And, I don't know. We're on the boardwalk. He's like, we should join the Navy.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, fuck yeah, we should join the Navy. And the next week we went to
Y'all had some drinks in you or what?
Maybe.
Was it like a sober decision?
It sounded like a sober decision, right?
Okay, so it does help to have somebody that's with you, like, let's do this thing.
So we did. It's not common now, but then it was kind of a big deal, like the buddy program. So you could join with somebody.
Oh,
wow! You stay together
through
like the whole process. Well, you're supposed to stay together through the whole process, but it's like it's one of the things that they do to get you in the door. Like,
yeah. You'll be with him.
You could do the buddy program.
Yeah. You'll never be separate. Get on in here.
That's just how they get you to bring in another recruit for them.
Oh, right. So, yeah, it's even better. You and a +1.
We did the buddy program, and there's this thing called DEP, right? It's a delayed entry program. Everyone does it, but the duration of your DEP depends. So back then, it was 2006, so like 9/11 is still fresh, right? So they were kind of like pushing people through, but even with that, you're DEPing like 6 to 12 months. We DEPed like 5 weeks.
Why?
We're just ready to go. So we're both still wanting to go back to college. So we did a year of college first. We always planned to go back. So we wanted to do it to where it had the least amount of impact on our college career. So like if we're missing one semester, that's one thing. But if we leave at a certain time in the year, we missed like 2 semesters. So we wanted to leave early enough that we could just miss 1 semester and pick back up in the spring.
Right.
So that's what we did. So we DEPed for like 5 weeks. I told my mom like 2 weeks before I was leaving. Like, hey, about to be gone for like a couple months.
Damn.
And then we left in July, and
you loved it.
Loved it.
Really?
Loved it. Yeah.
I heard it's kind of nice, like the camaraderie and like the trauma bonding. Like you're going through this
the best
tough
decision like I ever made in my life.
Really?
Like yeah, I would never change it.
Really? Well, you're still in.
Yeah.
I mean, did you know right when you started I'm going to be in this? And did your brother join?
So he had always talked about joining, and he went to some recruiters before I left, and then decided not to. And then while I was in boot camp, I guess he's like, I'm not gonna let my little brother fill me up. So like he joined while I was in boot camp.
Okay.
Yeah, and he went Marines.
Nice.
So he wanted to one up me. So he's like,
yeah, you guys talk
you're
shit
to go
about
first,
that.
I'm gonna go Marines.
Yeah. Is he still doing it?
No, he's out now, so he did his 4.
Right.
Yeah.
He did his time.
So like typically people do their 4. Right?
Yeah.
Like and that's kind of like by design. Like they want you to do 4 and get out. But what I did a little bit different. Because 9/11 had just happened, they're kind of changing things. Of course, the Navy doesn't have like infantry,
right?
But they have military police. Which before I joined, the only way to become military police, you had to have already been in the military for a couple years and then qualify to become military police.
Right.
9/11 happened. They turned the military police into like the Navy's infantry, and they just flooded it. So like you could join.
Damn,
like,
so you're 12.
Yeah.
You're military 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically,
nice.
yeah.
Hell yeah. Hide the weed, Mike. Damn. So how's that work? Where do you police? Just at bases and shit?
So
or
on
like...
bases, primarily on bases, but it depends. So we share jurisdiction depending on where we are. So like Fort Meade has like their jurisdiction is pretty broad because the housing is off base, right? And same kind with Annapolis, like the housing is like off base. So it's kind of like the jurisdiction is kind of blurry between the military and the DOD and Annapolis and state police.
Yeah, I'm sure it's all over the place.
So we have concurrent a lot, but primarily we do on base.
Right.
And my first deployment in Kuwait is what I was doing. It was a law and order deployment, so I was just policing the bases.
Really?
In Kuwait, yeah.
How many people did you have to kill?
I can't tell you.
I can tell you, but I had to add to the list. Damn, Kuwait?
Kuwait.
What the fuck's that like? Where the fuck is Kuwait?
Hot as fuck.
Yeah,
Hot
it's
as
a
fuck.
desert.
Yeah, so anybody who's ever been to Kuwait,
I just assume
and I
we're at
feel
war
like
with everyone,
they've
all the desert
always,
people.
They always describe it the same way. It's like if you turn on your oven to like 500 degrees and open it, and then like throw sand in your face. It's exactly how it feels all day, every day.
Jesus.
That's Kuwait.
Yeah, and it's the winters are the worst because like it'll be like 140 during the day and then drop to like 60 at night. So like it's dramatic
Oh, my
dramatic
God.
temperature changes is insane.
There's llamas out there and camels and shit?
Oh yeah,
Really? Any bitches?
I mean they're covered.
Yeah, that's
They're
what
covered.
I figure, right?
Yeah.
They have some hot eyes. They have some hot ass eyeballs.
Oh yeah,
You
they're pretty as eyes.
You develop an ocular kink somehow.
I don't know what it is, but I just look at eyes.
So yeah, I mean, you're in there full board. What did you win an award for? Killing the most Kuwaiti people.
Killing most. It's not just so they like to recognize people. You know,
Sure.
it's like one of the things they can do when they don't pay you a lot.
Oh yeah, so like, how's that work? You get a salary? You just get a base salary?
So I
Are
get
you hourly, or how's that work?
So I'm in the reserves, and it's a little bit different. So it's like it's based off like the.
How's the reserves work?
So your minimum requirement is a weekend a month for drill, and then 2 weeks a year for training.
And can't you go right into reserves?
You can go right into reserve, and that was new when I joined as well. Before you couldn't go to the reserves. It was already you always had to be prior enlisted,
Right.
and they just like made it to where you can just join into reserves, which is funny because like the last class of prior enlisted sailors to go through boot camp was there when I was there. So we had like it's like we call it the recruit Bible. It's like your training manual for boot camp. It's like this thick, right? You had to carry it with you everywhere you went because all the answers in life are in this recruit Bible.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you had any questions, look through it. We're going to chow. We're all lined up, and we call it like a division. Like that's like your unit in boot camp.
The
So
squad.
your division, right? So your division's like 40 people deep, right? Like your average division. We saw this shorter division. It was like 10 people, and I'm 19. Like we're all like around the same age. These guys were like late 30s, 40s. We're like, okay, why is this division so short?
And old.
And why are they old? And our RDCs, they're our drill instructors. We call them RDCs in the Navy. They're like, oh, well, those are reservists. And one of the people in my division is like, well, I'm a reservist. And they're like, oh, how many people in here are reservists? Like half the division raise their hands, right? He's like, oh, well, reservists only do a 2-week boot camp.
2 weeks.
2 weeks versus the 9 weeks that we were doing. Right. And he's like, and that was the last group that did 2-week boot camp. You guys were all screwed.
Damn.
Yeah, so the last one to go through was going through when I was there.
Damn, 2 weeks. So after you're coming up on your 4 years,
Yeah.
right? They come to talk to you about your future career.
So everyone has 8 years.
8?
Like, everyone has an 8-year contract initially. That's where we all start. That's
I didn't
the baseline.
even know that.
4 years is usually like your active year. So even if you join the reserves, it's like 4 years in the reserves, right? And then we have 4 years in the IRR, which is inactive reserve. Right?
Okay.
So that's like shit hits the fan. We're going to war with China.
You're on call.
You're on call, right?
But you don't have to do a weekend a month
No.
because you're inactive.
Exactly. So after your first 4 years, you can kind of like live your own life,
Right.
in case they call you, right? So everyone
Unless
has
you see the bat signal.
exactly. So across the board, everyone has an 8-year contract. Sometimes they'll break it up and it'll be like 6 years active or 2 years active or 4 years active. It's most commonly 4 years active, 4 years IRR.
Right.
That's the most common contract.
So you were excited to be done the active shit?
No, so I joined as a reservist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that was kind of a new thing that you could do then.
Right.
Because I wanted to stay in school. Right?
Yeah.
So
It sounds like a way better gig.
And they're blowing up the reserves too, because like that's one of the other techniques that we do in the military is like we build up the reserve so in case shit does happen, we've got this force that's already trained, already qualified, right? So when I walked in the recruiting office, I was exactly what they wanted to see.
Right.
Because they were trying to build up the infantry of the Navy with the Master at Arms, which is the military police, and they're building up the reserves. So I told them I want to be a reservist, I want to shoot guns. And they're like, let me tell you about this program we got.
Yeah.
So that was exactly what they wanted.
You were always into guns?
I didn't shoot guns until I joined the military, but I was always kind of like interested.
Do you have a gun on you right now?
Maybe.
This motherfucker. I feel like he's always got a gun somewhere on him. I like the answer too. Keep it cryptic. You know what I mean? Build a little bit of yeah. So you teach your own you teach people how to get guns, right?
I do.
You teach them how to order ghost guns off the internet. Have their serial number.
I do. We always
teach
follow
them
the
how
law.
to build. Just kidding. Ghost guns are not real.
Ghost
you can
guns are not
definitely
real.
not go get a 3D printed gun from like
urban
Amazon.
Myth. It's urban myth.
Urban myth. Dude, how about ghost guns? I mean, once that it's like...
I think for me, I think it's more political than anything. Because like, for forever, you never heard about ghost guns. And like, what, 3 years ago? It's like, now everything...
I thought it was a 3D printer that really popped them off. No? Is that because I don't know. I'm ignorant as fuck. By the way, anything I ask you, I'm a retard when it comes to guns.
Honestly, I don't even know what we're talking. What's a ghost gun?
A ghost gun is an untraceable gun, right? So it's something that's unserialized that can't be traced back to the original purchaser.
Which are bizarrely easy to get.
It's bizarrely easy to get, and it's also broad, right? Because like 3D printed guns are ghost guns.
Yeah.
But I can also buy a gun or buy a kit to build a gun, like a 80%, which they put a stop to.
When I think of a ghost gun, I think of the 80%ers, where it's like you get to buy pieces of a gun. Explain it. It's like this loophole where you're allowed to buy the pieces of a gun, and then you can alter it slightly, then it becomes a gun. And it's fully legal to get, but once you built it, it's illegal. But at least you got a gun.
You can legally manufacture your own gun and never have to register with the federal government.
You can manufacture it?
You can. So that's where the loophole gets in. That's where 80%ers come in. And the threshold is you have to do 20% of the work yourself. So the companies who do 80% guns they'll manufacture it up to the last 20%, which is like you're drilling out holes that are already marked for you, and like assembling things.
Yep.
But all
it's
the
like
pieces
putting together Legos that'll kill someone.
Right. So they do 80% of the work for you, and then mail it to you, or you buy it or whatever, and then you do the last 20%
serial
of the work,
number,
and you don't have to register. And that is still legal. That's completely legal. What the ATF tried to do a couple years ago was it said that it was illegal, and the ATF likes to change the rules.
No.
They change
the ATF.
Yeah,
Get out.
It's super weird.
Almost like they play by their own rule book and keep changing it.
They do. And and like we own the rule book and we're going to change it, and now we're going to say that what we said you could do, that's now illegal and you're now a felon.
Right. For now, and then we'll change that too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they tried to make it so that 80% were illegal. It's still legal to manufacture your own guns. That hasn't changed. It would take the Constitution changing for that to change. Right. They haven't changed any laws
yet.
They're not a legislative body, right? They're administrative. They can't do that.
Right.
And that's why they're in a lot of hot water right now with the Supreme Court, because they keep trying to change things, and the Supreme Court's like,
ATF, you mean?
Yeah.
Did you see? Okay, so this is a little bit of a side tangent, real quick. Did you see that they killed that guy, the director of that airport?
No.
So there's this. Is my notepad over here?
Yeah, that's right there.
I want to talk to you about this a little bit because the ATF killed Brian Malinowski. He was the executive director of Bill and Hillary Clinton's National Airport in Little Rock. The only reason I even heard about it is because their Clinton's name's attached to it, right? It's the only reason it was even news.
That makes sense.
But what's frustrating is ATF, he's the director of this airport, the executive director.
Yeah.
They know where he works every single day.
Yeah.
Okay? They go serve a search warrant at his house because he's selling guns or something.
Right.
They get in a shootout, they kill him. And it's like, couldn't you have just waited for him to clock in?
Right.
And said, hey, we're going to search your... Like, I just don't get the whole no-knock search warrants and the running up in houses, bro. It's like, he's got to leave. I don't know why. To run up in someone's property, it's
we
like...
know his schedule.
Yeah. Especially someone like him. It's not like a drug dealer that could maybe not leave for days. This guy's going to work. He's clocking in every fucking day. And to go on someone's property, you're evoking this caged animal response, you know?
Exactly.
It's crazy to me.
That's why red flag laws are terrible.
What kind?
Red flag.
What's that?
So a red flag law is where...
Isn't that when they made black people live in a certain... Oh, those were red lines.
Red lines, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a red flag is if somebody who's supposed to be close to you, right? So it's got to be a family member, a cohabitant, a medical professional, a law enforcement officer, or a judge can say, hey, this person is unsafe, and they can get a court order to remove your guns.
Maybe that's what happened to me.
So this is the problem with that. There's no due process, right? Because like you're not,
this is just
you're
some
not alerted
accuser.
that's happening, right? So this happens all behind your back. You're not there in court, right? You're not.
You can't
you're not
speak
notified.
for yourself.
Exactly. So, somebody can go right now and say, "Oh, I think Chris is crazy. We should take his guns." I'll never know anything's happening until they kick my door down. And then again,
it's crazy with the guns.
The cage animal response, like you just broke my door down,
of course.
And they're always doing the knock warrants or the raids in the middle of the night because they want to get you off guard. What do you expect the response is going to be?
What do you expect?
Exactly.
Or just even like I've seen people getting like bad divorces where that father had to give up his guns, and it's just like, what are we doing? He can kill those kids with a knife.
Yeah,
he can kill his children in the bathtub. I just don't. The whole people are just so scared of the gun thing.
They are.
I think everyone should have one.
It's politicized. That's all it is. Like, people are easily manipulated by the media because they make them seem like so crazy. I had a conversation with some relatives of mine, and it was during the last election. We were talking about guns because I'm big into guns, right?
Yeah.
They knew that, and they were saying, oh well, like no one needs a semi-automatic gun, right? And
I've heard that argument.
They were months before that. They were in the process of buying guns and getting a permit for themselves because they live in Pennsylvania. Where in Pennsylvania, there's no class. All you have to do is apply.
It's easy in Pennsylvania.
Super easy to get concealed carry permit. They're already in the process of getting it. Election ramps up. Their political views change about guns, right? So like, no one needs a semi-automatic. So I sent them a picture of like this cute little purple like little fucking 380, right? Semi-automatic, and I'm like, what about this? I'm like, this is semi-automatic. Like,
right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They're assuming AR-15.
They're thinking semi-automatic like assault rifle.
Yeah.
That's the way it's talked about in the media.
Of course.
You say semi-automatic, and automatically you think assault rifle, but no, it's not. It's
right.
not. It's just
semi-automatic is anything you can pull the trigger more than once without reloading, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Single fire.
Single fire. Right?
Yeah.
And the energy of the action going off is what cycles the next round. That's all it does.
Let me ask you this:
like,
I've never been convicted of a felony. I'm not allowed to own a gun. Do you know why? Is that because I've been?
Do you know why?
Can you help me get a
Who
gun?
told you can't own a gun?
Well, I've gotten a charge, bro.
For owning a gun?
No, for going to a fucking, not even owning one.
Yeah.
For going to a gun range. Listen to this, bro. This is crazy. I went to a gun range with my cousin, his wife, and my then girlfriend, and we shot some of his guns that he brought, and then we rented one to shoot or something.
Yeah.
And then I got a call. This is a true story. This sounds insane. I got a call like a week or week and a half later. It's this guy like, I'm Detective so-and-so. And again, I didn't think I'd done anything wrong. I've never been convicted of a felony, ever. I've been charged with felonies, never convicted. Shout out to my lawyer.
There you go.
No, but I get a call. This is so crazy to me. I get a call from this guy. He's like, I'm Detective so-and-so. We do audits of these gun ranges, okay?
Right.
And we're doing an audit, our monthly audit, and they're missing some inventory. We just want to talk to the people who've been there. Right. We just want to talk to the people who've been there. Who'd you go with? And again, I haven't done nothing wrong, so I'm like, this is who I went with. I'm giving full names. I'm giving social security numbers. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And he's like,
exactly.
Yeah, what did you guys shoot? What did you bring? I'm like, this is what they brought, because I don't own none of them. So I told him the truth, and I get off the phone, and I just had this feeling. I'm like, that was so weird.
It was
like,
weird,
it didn't go nowhere. It didn't end in nothing. And then like a week after that, I started getting letters in the mail from lawyers like, hey, we're going to represent you in your case. And I'm like, case? What the fuck?
They knew you got charged before you did.
Yeah, 100%. I found out from the lawyer letters.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. I guess they're just searching the shit. But
yep.
I went to court, and I'm like, tried to fight it, and my charge was unlawful use of a regulated firearm, which sounds way worse than it was, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm running around the street shooting guns in the air. And I argued that, and the judge was like, we're not saying you're running around shooting guns in the air. You did what you shouldn't have. Like, you did break the law. And they're like, we're not saying that you were acting crazy, but you aren't allowed to have a gun, and you had one. And I don't know why I can't have one. I've been involuntarily put into a psych ward. Is that why?
For how long?
Only like 72 hours, I think. Like, this is the minimum. 72-hour minimum.
How long? Like, how recent was that to when you went to the range?
Way longer. Way long. I was 16 when I went to my first psych ward, and the other one was after the range.
Yes, that can prohibit you if you're not cleared by a mental health professional. So you can have been to a psych ward as long as someone says, like a mental health professional says, okay, he's clear now.
Right.
Like whatever issues he had.
Okay, so I could probably get it cleared up. Because I can't imagine what it would be.
Like, that doesn't sound like something
they would catch a charge.
Exactly.
I know. And I swear I've never been convicted of a felony.
They would. That's like one of those things where it's like, after the fact, they find out like, oh, well, when we did research into, him murdering his whole family, we found out that he'd been hospitalized.
Right.
He should have had a gun to begin with.
Yeah.
Right. It's like HIPAA wouldn't allow them to just search that because it was medical, right? Mental health is medical. Like, so they couldn't just search that. So there's something else that they're using.
Something else going on. Yeah, I just don't know what it would be.
Yeah. Were you on probation or anything when it happened?
Oh, I don't think so. No.
Because if you're currently on probation or you're currently facing charges, you can't possess firearms.
Maybe I was on like unsupervised probation or some shit that I didn't know about.
If that was the case, then that could have been it.
That may be it.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that. But so you teach Maryland sucks, huh?
Maryland sucks
with the concealed carries.
They've gotten better in the last almost 2 years.
And it's always changing too. That's the thing. It's like you really got to be up on that shit.
You got to,
because it's like it's constantly changing, and you're talking about like some serious charges sometimes.
Oh man, and the thing is, like, a lot of people think that like police know the laws. They don't.
Oh, how could they?
They don't know.
How they're expecting every one of them to be a lawyer. It's like, bro, they're giving traffic tickets, or they're doing this, or they're running in houses and shooting people. It's like they're no knock warning,
Right.
But
killing dogs.
To know every law and kill the dogs first. Yeah, this motherfuckers. Get the canines. They don't. And so it's like then you're caught into one of those things where you're like trying to educate a cop on the side of the road.
Exactly.
It's not good.
Believe me, this is legal. Like, trust me.
It's not a good look.
He's like, no,
they don't want to hear that shit because then they feel like belittled too, right?
Exactly.
They're like, don't tell me how to do my job, and you're like, well, I'm actually an instructor.
Ego, right?
Yeah, well, of course,
ego.
yeah. And ego is just a hard thing to separate from for anyone, you know.
I actually had an interesting experience when I was getting my first concealed permit. So,
which had to have been in the military or no? Is it post-military? Like, I feel like when you're in the military, you should just automatically get one.
So you do.
Okay.
Well, if you're military police, you do. Right. So.
But regular military?
Regular military.
So I can go to Kuwait and see the eyes and kill the people, and I come back and I'm not allowed to have a gun right away?
Nope, not right away.
Yeah.
So
I guess they might be.
If you join the military and come back, you're waived from having to take the class. You just have to apply. Right?
Okay, right. So, which makes sense because you're obviously trained.
Yeah. Well, they think it's obvious, but like not everybody in the military is trained. Not everybody who deploys is trained.
Yeah,
so,
and you got PTSD after. Please stop putting the gun in your mouth. Can you please stop putting the barrel of the gun in your mouth, Justin?
Is that where we're going? No.
Where is this? Is this it? So you still have to apply if you're not a military police.
Right, if you're not a military police. So if you are a military police, you fall under a federal law called LEOSA, Law Enforcement Officer Safety Act, which allows any law enforcement officer in the country, whether you're a civilian, federal, or military, to conceal carry a firearm everywhere.
Right.
Like basically forever. Like as long as you don't like get fired from your job because you're crazy or like
right.
Other things that make you a hazard. So I was already military police. So
were you military police the whole time?
Whole time.
Okay.
Yep. And I was trying to get my permit. At the time, it was more difficult to get Maryland. Right. Right. And Maryland had restrictions, so I was trying to get a LEOSA credential. All right. So I was already covered by the law, but like I needed documentation to show that I was covered by the law. There's a department within Maryland who issues LEOSA creds to law enforcement officers who aren't Maryland State Police. Maryland State Police does their guys and only their guys.
And so you would fall under that category. Right.
So I went there, but you have to get a seat in the class, right? So I'm trying to get a seat in the class, and they rejected me. They're like, "Well, you don't."
You're black.
Basically, they said we don't like your melanin, so like just come back. No,
for real. That was just full or?
No, they said I didn't need it because I'm still in the military and I have my military ID, right? So like that's your LEOSA right there. Like that's your creds, your military ID. I'm like, okay, thought experiment here, all right? My military ID looks like everybody else's military ID. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing that identifies me as military police.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I get stopped by a state trooper.
Actually, or this is hypothetical?
No, hypothetical. Okay. Like, I'm talking to the guy.
Sure. Okay, got it.
Wouldn't, like the guy who runs the program who wouldn't give me a seat in class.
Right.
So I'm like, state trooper stops me.
Smart,
right?
Yeah.
I hand him my military ID. I'm like, what does he see on there that tells him I'm military police?
He's already shooting you. You've already
He's reloading
the second magazine.
I've already been shot, right? So he's like, I don't know. I'm like, it doesn't identify me as military police on my ID.
Which is crazy, by the way. You would think it would.
So his response was, he'll just call the Navy.
Let me look here. Navy. No, that's Navy's old number. Right. No, I think they got a new number. No, this is green bubble. This must not be that. Navy's iPhone. I know Navy.
No, you reached the Navy.
Exactly.
Who are you looking for?
Hello. This is the Navy.
Of the 500,000 people you have in the Navy, you know Chris Wallace, right?
Yeah, you've reached the
personally
Navy.
know Chris Wallace, right?
Oh, Chris? Yeah.
We know him.
So,
he's good.
Yeah, what the
Their
fuck?
response is like, yeah, they'll just call the Navy. I'm like, that's not a thing that could happen.
Imagine telling the cop that.
Right?
Yeah, I heard you could just call the Navy.
You just call the Navy. So after that thought experiment, he gave me a seat in the class.
Good.
So I did that. That's where I got my first one, but that one kind of sucked because it was only good for a year, and I kept to take the class all over again.
What?
Yeah.
Yearly?
Yeah, annual. It's ridiculous. And Maryland concealed carry permit is 3 years. So I'm like, well, why would I do the LEOSA one that's annual when I can do the Maryland one for 3 years?
And they both cover, they overlap, right? It's like either one.
Like, well, in Maryland. So LEOSA covers you everywhere in the country.
Right.
Maryland covers you in Maryland and the states that have reciprocity with Maryland, which is like 27 states right now.
It's one of my favorite words is reciprocity.
I love reciprocity.
It just comes out the mouth good. A lot of people don't know it, even though it's, reciprocated.
It feels good when you say it.
It does.
It does. Yeah.
Certain words do. Let me ask you this. You get a paper, you get some type of fucking official, like, fucking thing when you get to concealed carry? It has, like, a Punisher logo on it or something?
You get a card.
You do?
You get a card.
Okay, and you have to carry that card, right?
I have to carry the card everywhere you go.
If you have the gun?
If you have the gun.
Right.
Yeah. So if you have the gun and no card, that's against the law.
Now, so if I don't have a concealed carry and I'm allowed to have a gun, I can walk around with that bitch on my hip showing? Or no? Because it's not concealed.
You could have before. So Maryland
before
has...
Biden?
Maryland has a lot of gray areas in their gun laws. They're not really explicit about anything. So,
right, which makes it fun for people like you that are trying to like teach
Exactly.
people and teach a literal class. Like you have
It's
like
the
a legit
hardest.
business. Like
Yeah.
yeah, which we can plug too, by the way.
Yeah, and like when you're getting your HQL, the handgun qualification license, which
Which
you
is the
need,
same thing as the CCW.
is different.
Okay,
So
the HQL
that
is a
allows
handgun
you to
qualification
own
license.
handguns.
Got it.
The CCW allows you to carry them concealed on your person.
Now concealed is a higher level than like just to be seen, right?
Right. So we only have concealed in Maryland. So we used to not have explicit laws to tell you it had to be concealed.
Right.
So people would think, oh, Maryland's open carry. It's not. Maryland was never open carry. Maryland never explicitly said it had to be concealed, but they never said it was okay to have it open either.
So what's the fucking? So what's the? What are the arguments like? Open carry versus conceal. Like, what's the even idea behind that? Like, is it? Do they think it's better off if people don't know people have them, or what's the deal?
I think they think it's better off when people don't know because like guns are scary.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Guns are scary.
It's
So like
hilarious.
you'll see
That
like a lot of like
probably is it.
yeah. Exactly.
That's so
That's all it
crazy,
is.
bro.
When you see like the more gun-friendly states, like the more southern states that like people are around guns more often,
Yeah. They don't
open
get
carry
frightened.
is like automatic,
It's just normal.
right? The only thing you get a license for is to conceal carry, right? And they're just worried about like people not knowing you have a gun when you're in areas where like you could commit crimes,
Right.
right? So like, that's like the mentality behind it.
Gotcha.
But open carry is like automatic in most of these states that are like gun-friendly.
Right.
But Maryland, like people
So
are afraid of
concealed
guns.
carry is like it's like they're worried about criminals us not knowing criminals have the guns.
I think they're more worried about people who are afraid of guns seeing
Really,
it
it's
and
the
getting
public
offended.
persona. It really
exactly,
is.
exactly what
That's
it is.
crazy.
Yeah, like somebody complaining, like, "Oh, this guy has a gun and it's
He's got
scary."
the pow pow stick.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just a tool, man.
Can I ask a question? Why do you need an HQL for handguns, but like I could like buy and build like a rifle or whatever, and like I don't need a extra like what's that?
Politics.
Yeah, right.
Politics.
I
That's
have
all it
a
is.
feeling. I have a feeling.
Because
all
they
Politics.
think it's more dangerous because it's easier to hide and all that, or
What I think happens is that a crime happens, which is unfortunate.
yeah.
which will happen. We can
Somebody's
never stop.
family gets upset and they complain to their representatives. The representatives make a law to appease them so they can get reelected because that's their entire job is getting reelected.
Yeah.
And the people who make these laws know nothing about guns,
Got it.
which is so they're like, oh, well, something happened, and somebody had a handgun,
And someone's
And
emotions
somebody got-
are involved.
right?
People are
So
upset.
like, okay, well now you need a license to get a handgun,
You can't even bring AR-15s into the high schools anymore.
right? Exactly.
I mean,
Like, where are we at as a country when you can't do that?
I thought this was America.
Exactly.
The fuck.
But yeah, so they make it so you can't buy a handgun without having this permit now, which does nothing.
Now, can't you just like go like so because of the laws being so? Can't you just like drive to Texas and come home with a bazooka?
So typically,
Like aren't
when
there like
you're-
gun
when you're-
shows? Like what's the deal with
There
that
are.
loophole? Like
so what laws apply to you are based on your home of residence.
okay,
So even if I'm in Texas, Maryland laws still apply to me
right,
because the assumption is I'm still going back to Maryland.
right,
If I'm in Texas long enough that I'm
and now a resident
now
there,
a resident, I need to change my license, my residency to Texas, and then Texas laws apply to me.
right,
Or if you're military, if you're there for an extended period of time because you're stationed there,
right.
you have to
It's
provide
basically-
orders
yeah.
to use the local laws. But outside of that, wherever your home of record is, that's the laws that apply to you. So it doesn't matter where I go.
But they probably aren't looking or checking because I feel like if they
So-
see the Maryland flag, they could be like, no, right?
Whenever you transfer a firearm
That's
to another
ideal.
person, there's always supposed to be a background check. And they say this like gun show loophole. It's not a loophole. It's just people breaking the law. That's all it is.
That's not a
Like,
loophole. That's just yeah.
Yeah, because of the circumstances, they can break the law easier because no one's watching. But they're still breaking the law.
Right.
It's always a federal requirement.
Because they're
that
not
there's a-
doing the background
exactly, and
checks,
it's always required. So
which is unrealistic
Yeah.
to do for every single
Exactly.
gun.
it gets more lax again, and like there's more rural states, more gun-friendly states because it's mainly hunters. Like if I bought a shotgun that
Yeah.
I've been using duck hunting, you and me go duck hunting together. You didn't have a shotgun. I sell you my shotgun like on the weekend.
Right.
You know, we don't need to go to a gun store in FFL to do that because we're just two hunters exchanging a gun
Right.
for hunting.
Yeah. Everything's
That's
on
what
the
it
up
is,
and up.
right? So it's always a law, and so long guns have been exempt in some states from
Because
the
of
background
hunting.
check because it's hunting, right? But for handguns, it's always been federal law. You always have to do a background check when a handgun is transferred from one person to another. So this loophole is it's a myth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like really
And then-
a break in the law that people
Right.
think it is. Like the laws are already there, they're just not being enforced.
Right.
So that's a different issue.
And then what's up with the weed card? You can't have both?
So you
Because I know people are asking you that
can't have
constantly,
both.
right?
You can't have both, right? Yeah, because even though It's legal.
I
in
feel like you
whatever
should
state.
have to have both.
You should, right?
I feel like you should
want
have
people
to have
mellow
both
and
of
relax.
them. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. But until they make marijuana not a federal,
Right.
like federally banned,
Right.
it's always gonna be like because guns are regulated federally.
Right.
So regardless of what state you go to, even if
And we're
weed's
probably
legal,
heading there eventually.
I think we're gonna head there eventually. I think it's just gonna be a long road.
Yep.
But can't you be prescribed like Ambien or something that like actually makes you weird?
Xanax, you name it.
Which does a lot worse
Perk
for you.
30s,
right?
Adderall,
Exactly.
Xanax, you name it. As long as your drug dealer has a white coat.
That's all that matters.
I think they're like an engineering marvel. Like it's such a cool thing. But like the other thing is like, a gun in a safe is like useless, right? So like, but then like the brain of a human being is like fragile as fuck. So like, you never really know.
If I had a gun on me at all times, I would have killed myself on 495.
I'm so
in traffic. I'm not worried about killing someone else in road rage. I'm worried about killing myself.
I feel like if everyone just had like a gun on their
right?
hip in every store, like no one would do anything.
No one would do anything.
Well, that's the truth about it that people don't like to admit. It's like,
exactly.
Well, they go, less guns, less crime, and okay, so here's the thing.
Every statistic says the opposite.
Right, but
in a perfect world, maybe.
Well, no. It's like, if there was zero guns, there would be less shootings.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
It's just not realistic, and not less crime. And people are gonna stab. They're gonna beat you with a brick. It's like, are they efficient? Yes. They shouldn't be penalized for being efficient.
Right.
Like the guns, the weapons.
Exactly.
They're like,
Exactly.
well, this one's too good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, most people aren't running up into the schools. They're just not. Now those stories are sensationalized because it's like you want to get people to watch, or people, their whole job is to get people riled up about whatever.
Exactly.
And if you want to get people riled up, it's like, and it should be riled you up. You know, I mean, obviously, it's like these are horrific things.
Exactly.
So, but it's not because of the AR-15.
It's not.
It's just not.
It's not.
It's just not. I don't.
It's all politics. That's all it is.
Yeah, but it's like, and then it's like the whole, let's make them illegal, so then the law-abiding citizens don't have them.
Right.
But the criminals don't give a fuck what the laws
Murder
are.
is already illegal.
Yeah.
So if laws are going to stop people, they would have stopped.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
You're only hurting the people who actually follow the law.
Right. And now, how long is the class?
So it's 16 hours for Maryland.
16 hours. Now, not in a row.
So I usually break mine up into 2 8-hour days.
Right.
But like, you could do 16 hours if you wanted to. You could knock it out. Yeah.
As long as you get to 16.
As long as you get to 16. Yeah.
Now, we actually have a ghost gun we're going to build together. Can you bring out the ghost gun? So, do you have to do the background checks on these motherfuckers? Or is there like a commission? Like, who does it?
So when they're submitting their application,
they already have an HQL,
MSP,
I guess.
Well, you don't have to have an HQL to get your CCW, or vice versa. Like, they're completely independent of each other.
Gotcha. You could have a CCW and not be able to own a gun.
Well, you could have a CCW but not have a permit to own a gun. But it doesn't stop you from owning a gun. But like, there are people who carry for like, there are people who carry for work, right? So like, maybe I'm not buying my own gun, but I need a CCW for work. So there's like situations like that.
Gotcha.
So like, they're completely independent of each other, which I feel like if I've got my CCW, it should come with an HQL automatically. Why am I doing extra?
Yeah.
Like, you're already running the background check. You're already doing my fingerprints.
Yeah.
Like, I've taken a
couple
longer
extra
class.
dollars, probably.
Right. Exactly. The class is more expensive. The application is more expensive. The class is longer.
Right.
HQL class is 4 hours, whereas the wear and carry class or CCW class is 16. So it's like, if I'm doing the wear and carry class, I should just automatically get the HQL.
Right. The same way with military police. Yeah.
It should automatic. It's not. It's just another way for them to make money.
Yeah.
Just another funnel for them. That's all that is. But yeah. So you can take the 16-hour class. You can do it like 16 hours all at once. I break mine up into 2 classes.
Right.
It's weird.
And you guys are just target practicing, or you're showing them how to break it down.
So we gotta go over certain topics, and it's actually improved a little bit, in my opinion, since I'm not big on gun laws, but like one thing that Maryland did well when they changed the gun laws is they solidified the curriculum.
Okay.
Before it was
because you have a specific curriculum. You can't just be in there like teaching them how to hold shit sideways.
Right? Up until October, it was like the Wild West. Right?
Really?
Instructor teaching anything.
Did you like that though?
I hated it because like I'm more strict on mine. I'm more comprehensive. I go above and beyond.
Well, that's why I figured you probably liked it because you got to do whatever you wanted. But you didn't. You saw other people not doing it right, probably,
which is dangerous. It makes us all look bad. Right?
Yeah, because you're bigger picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before October, when they made this new gun law last year, there was like 5 topics you had to cover. Like, as long as you're covering Maryland gun laws, basic marksmanship, safety and storage, that's your class. Right. Fill 16 hours. And it's just like whatever you want to do. So people would do that. And some people were doing classes where it's like 4-hour class or 2-hour class.
Yeah,
and
not
like,
learning shit.
Not learning anything. There's so many students that I'm having to reteach because they went to other instructors who like just they would sell their certificate instead of like selling training. Like I sell training.
Right.
Like you're not automatically going to pass my class because you paid me.
Sure.
You have to actually
That's a
meet
great
the
distinction.
metrics. Yeah. And they would just sell certificates. Like they're like running through things. And it's weird because like for the HQL, when you become an HQL instructor, they don't differentiate between HQL and CCW instructors in Maryland. For the HQL class, they have a template for the class of an actual PowerPoint presentation that they give you. They don't do that with the CCW. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you want to be more strict about the one that allows them to carry them concealed everywhere in the state versus the one that just allows them to buy them? All right, but now they're more strict. Now they've outlined the curriculum a little bit better. They included some more mental health stuff that I like. So I was already doing suicide awareness training because I'm also a Utah instructor, and Utah requires that. Utah's always required that. So I've already included that in my Maryland training, but that's now a Maryland requirement as well.
People are sad in Utah. They need to hear that.
There's something to do out there. So that was a big change. I like that about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's so important, right? Yeah, it's like, come on.
So important.
It's like the number one cause of death, I think, in like males under 50 or something.
And that's another thing they don't talk about.
So
like when we talk about statistics with gun deaths, like they'll talk about, there's so many gun deaths in the United States, but they don't talk about how 45% of those gun deaths are suicide.
Yeah.
They leave that out. And that's just talking about Maryland. Like on the national level, it's like it's on par with.
Also,
like,
can we start overdosing? If you're gonna kill yourself, can we do it like cleaner? I don't know. Just a thought.
It's definitely messy.
Yeah,
for family members especially, if they're gonna find you, like
find
you.
Unless you're really mad at your family.
Right.
Fine.
Sure. Like they're in the note.
Yeah, for sure.
Use a wood chipper. Then.
Take that, Mom.
You want to get? Never mind. Can I ask you about a military police question?
Go for it.
So like normal police, I don't know if they admit that they have a quota. Do military police have a quota?
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing?
What
are you doing all day?
Like base by base, like it depends, like what they put out. It's not like
you have a certain amount of minorities you have to pull over.
Right.
I got to make a certain amount of arrests a month.
Yeah,
I mean, I've definitely been in the commands where they want to see a certain level of activity.
Yeah.
Right, because and it's not like we want you to like do false arrests. It's like
no, of course they want the police.
It's more so like it's in my experience, and I can't say this across the board.
Of course.
Because in the military, it's not like we're not issuing tickets as like revenue generation. Like civilian side, they are.
Sure.
Like that's like how they generate revenues. Like
for sure,
paying tickets.
No question.
You're not like really paying things like in the military. And if you are paying, it's like a $30 ticket. It's not like $160.
Right. You're not bringing in the cake.
We're not generating revenue. So like it's more so for us. It's like to make sure that the officers aren't slacking off. Like we know that there's enough going on base that you should be doing like X amount of traffic stops.
Yeah, just because of the history. Right?
Exactly.
Historically,
we know what's going on. So like if you're not getting that, like we know that you're like hiding somewhere sleeping. Right. So it's more for us. It's like to make sure that we're doing our job.
You get a cop car and shit?
Yeah.
You get to take it home?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say, is it outside? Can I go play with it?
It's just on base. No. But like if you live on base, I guess it depends. But like for us, like the funding is just so limited for us. Like at least the Navy side, like different branches have different funding. Like Air Force has way more money than we do.
Yeah. So they got cyber trucks and shit.
Yeah. So for us, it's like you want to get it for the shift. Like you're sharing it. Like so we don't have like individual. Like the chief of police is gonna have his own car.
Right.
And if he lives on base, he's probably gonna take it home.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants.
So you got yeah.
Yeah, but like. He's chief of police, so he probably doesn't live on base.
Right.
He probably lives in like a nice like $1 million house somewhere off base.
Right.
Yeah.
You see that guy set himself on fire in DC?
No, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that? Damn, that happened like a month and a half ago.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
February.
Yeah, in protest for the Palestine shit. Set
Oh,
himself on fire. 25-year-old guy. He was in fatigues.
Yeah,
he was an active member of the Air Force.
Wild.
Matter of fact.
Wild.
Yeah.
Dude, the hardest man I've ever seen in my entire life. For how long he stood on his feet while
it was
totally
impressive.
engulfed
I'll show you the video.
fire.
Yeah. It's impressive.
Yeah.
I don't know what made me think of that. Oh, it made me think of it because of the police that were there. I'm like, or I guess Secret Service or something.
Yeah.
They just had their guns trained on them. And people were giving them shit for that. I'm like, dude, that's what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't know what's going on. There's a guy, a human being in flame. I mean, he went Super Saiyan, bro. It's
exactly.
like
we don't know what he's going to do next.
Fuck no. Or what the fuck's going on? Everyone's like, what's a guy going to get up and chase you on flames? It's like, bro, his job is to point that gun at whatever the fuck is going on.
Exactly.
And he did his job.
He did his job.
You know?
Exactly. I mean, there's like, there's a lot of like misunderstanding of what like law enforcement do and like what they're required to do.
Oh yeah, there's people like me commenting on it who have no
yeah,
idea.
If you don't do the job, it's hard to kind of understand. Like you kind of like have to be in that position to like, okay, like
it's the only way.
That makes sense now.
Yeah.
Right? And like all
high
safety
stress
is a big
situations
thing.
and shit.
It's right.
Like,
and you have like milliseconds to decide.
Yeah.
If you make the wrong choice.
It's so easy sitting on this couch to be like, look at this idiot.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Sure.
Fuck, being in there. It's like, do you ever have to deal with bad people? I guess because I'm thinking military police, you're not. See, the thing about a regular civilian side cop is like they're dealing with this like a lot of bad people.
Yeah.
So sometimes, not always, but sometimes their view of like humanity can get a little skewed.
Oh yeah.
Are you not? You're not really. You're dealing with like a lot of people who are kind of put together, like got their heads on straight. Is there like junkies and shit you're dealing with?
Not so much that. It's the population that we deal with is a little bit different, right? So like.
It's all domestic abuse and shit.
Right. A lot of domestics.
Yeah, I bet.
But like you think about like the population that we're policing is like the high stress population. Like everyone is under stress.
Right.
We're all in the military.
Yeah,
so we're all in some level of stress. Right. And then you deal with people who are like deploying, and then like that is stressful itself. Just deploying, not even the job, like just the separation from your family.
Oh yeah.
And then it goes both ways. Like so, like the members, like the service members, is stressed because he's deploying. But then the spouse is stressed
the
at
whole
home.
family.
Like,
oh my god.
You know, like I've got like 3 kids. Like now, like he's gone for a year, and it's just on me for a
and
year.
maybe forever. Who the fuck knows,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
There's always that
never
fear.
Know. There's always that fear. There's always that fear.
There's probably also like a sense of a little bit of camaraderie because you guys are all in it, right?
All in together.
It's like you're not just some guy who joined the military police and wasn't in the military.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So it's like you can relate, you can empathize. You know, it's like a cop who works in a district that's way not his.
Exactly.
And no one knows him, and he doesn't know nobody, and they're like, "What the fuck are you even doing?"
Your community. That's
yeah,
what
exactly. So you're policing your own community.
It's a lot better for that, but you also have to think like we're also the community where like everyone's had some level of firearms training.
No, for sure. That's what I'm saying. It's like the best trained criminals you're
right,
dealing with for sure.
So it's I don't want to say like
say it. Whatever you don't want to do it.
I would say like the danger is higher, but like the volume is a lot lower. You know, 'cause our community is smaller, like 1% of the population.
Yes, but the realistic functional danger there is higher, right?
Right. Because like
they're more capable.
They're more capable. They're all more capable.
Right.
And
simple as that. Not that they're worse people. They're more capable.
They're just more capable. They've been trained better. They're like you've been trained how to be disciplined. Like you're better at things.
Right.
Like,
the junkie might want to kill you, but he don't know how.
Your muscle memory, like even high on drugs or drunk, like your muscle memory, like you know how to hurt people.
Oh
like,
yeah, they make it muscle
exactly,
memory. Yeah,
exactly. So like it's just a little bit different with that.
Right.
And
so you take more precaution, you think? I guess. Because everyone could be armed, maybe.
I don't think. I think we should.
But you'd probably get complacent.
I think no, it's complacency, and it's also like a little bit of arrogance too, because like they've been trained, but we've been trained a little bit better.
Yeah.
Right?
You're like, I'm quicker on the draw.
Right,
You
exactly.
ain't get my ass.
Exactly. So like I think that plays into it a little bit too. One thing that we don't mess around with, like so like for our, I don't know if they still teach it, but like when I was going through military police school, they're like, we don't fuck with SEALs.
With the
like,
SEALs?
With the SEALs. So like if you come across a SEAL, we will call another SEAL to deal with the SEALs.
Really?
Like we're not going hands on with the SEAL because like
Dude, that's so
they
hard.
They know too much.
That's
they know
just
too much.
so hard to
right,
be like, get one of his. Get one of his
right?
and talk
only
to
know
him.
what I know from
you see that
movies
Trident?
and
Like,
shit,
we're gonna
but-
call somebody else. We'll hold a perimeter, but we're gonna call somebody else.
Wow, that's so badass.
Yeah.
It just sounds like urban legend shit.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: when you're in the training and shit, can you be? I guess you can't be a Navy SEAL reserve.
You could be a Navy SEAL reservist.
You can?
You do.
Really?
But like, when we say reservists,
Not okay.
it's
yeah,
like
reservists.
it's not what it used to be, right? So like, I think traditionally reservists they didn't do a lot, right? But now, when you're a reservist, like so, like, I'm not doing just 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year, right? I'm doing way more than that. Like I'm working every day for the Navy. Like I'm doing something
by choice. Or
it's
like
just the nature of the beast, like necessity.
right.
Especially in the position I'm in a leadership position. So like, there's things I have to do like all month long that
Right.
like, are outside of my drill weekend that I have to take care of.
And are there people reporting to you and shit?
All the time. Every day I'm talking to somebody for the Navy.
What do they call you?
Well, they call me MA1. So
MA1.
Yeah. So like,
MA1, can I please take a shit? Calling you up.
So military police in the Navy is called Master at Arms. So the abbreviation for that is MA.
MA.
And then for our rank, I'm a first class petty officer, which is D6.
Quit bragging.
Yeah. So the first class, they for the Navy we combine like your rating, which is your job, with your pay grade, which is like your rank. So because the MA is the abbreviation for Master at Arms, and like first class, that's where the MA and the 1 comes from, first class. So they call me MA1.
And your pay rate is
Yeah.
$1.
Yeah. $1 basically.
Yeah, how's that work? Do you got to go in and ask for raises and shit?
So we get when you get promoted, you get a raise, and then we get like cost of living raises,
Right,
like
those,
you know,
yeah.
whenever, but like it's like 2%, which is like doesn't match
cost of living.
living.
It kills me, dude. People at my work will be like, "Do you see we got the raise?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, "What the fuck has
Like
changed?
we're still losing money.
What has changed, bro? Right, with inflation, we're still
Exactly, we're still
losing
losing money.
And then also, like, let's just say we gained the fucking $40 or
Right.
whatever. What do you do? What has changed in your life?
Right. What are your spending habits
What
like?
the fuck are you doing? Getting more bagel bites? Like, I don't know what we're. Not much is gonna. It's like, don't get me wrong. I'm grateful for the raises,
Right.
but my life isn't changing.
Yeah.
Also, saving's a lie. You cannot save your way into like a new situation.
No. You got to make more money.
It's 100%. It's like it's good. You need to have it.
Yeah.
Saving's important. I'm not saying don't save.
Yeah.
But you're not going to save your way into like a higher tax, like into like a new way of living.
No,
You're just not.
50 years ago, maybe,
Maybe.
but like today, no. Not
Well, 50 years ago, it would be okay for one person to work.
Yeah, you're not doing that now.
What the fuck?
I just saw what is it? There's a report that said if you're single, the national average is to live comfortably, you got to make $90,000 a year, and if you are married, you have to make like 150 or something like that a year collectively.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Right, and then like they also had like I think it was like a New York thing because like they had New York rates. New York rates live comfortably, you had to make 123,000 a year.
I don't doubt
As a
it.
single person.
It's not livable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting to the point where it's like, it's tough to exist.
It's insane. It's hard
Breathing
out
is
there.
expensive.
It really is. Like every time you leave the house, it costs $100. That's why I stay home.
Dude, sometimes looking out the window, it costs me 50.
Yeah.
It's fucked
I don't
up
leave the
out
house
there.
anymore. I stay home.
You have to.
Yeah.
You're a dad. How many kids you got?
4.
You like them all?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a favorite?
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah. Good answer.
Yeah, exactly.
They might watch this someday. Yeah, that's good. Marriage life's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been married how long?
Going on 9 years now.
9.
Yeah.
How's that been? Good.
That's good.
All's
That's good.
well.
Yeah. Yeah, when you have a wife and a daughter at home, like it makes it easier because you don't have to make any decisions. They tell you what to do. All day.
Right.
All day.
It's just like being in the military
Right,
again, just following orders.
Right, exactly. Either she's telling me or she's telling me. Like
Yeah.
the daughter's so bossy.
You got girls and boys?
Yeah, one girl. So we had 3 boys, and then the last one was a girl.
Which one's? Well, I guess. So the girl's also the youngest.
So she's the hardest.
Yeah.
She's so spoiled.
Yeah.
And she knows it.
Yeah. Do you
She's
feel
a baby.
it's a different type of connection with the daughter than the boys?
Oh,
Not
yeah.
better or worse, but just different,
Yeah,
right?
different,
The
different.
father-daughter thing I heard is just like...
definitely different.
You
Yeah.
got a favorite?
No favorite.
Not
No
all
favorite.
time favorite.
I have a favorite daughter though, because I only got one.
There you go. Favorite daughter.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's scary, dude.
Yeah, it's definitely different because like you can be harder on boys, but like you got to be careful with girls. So, like you're building that.
You got to open hand hit them.
You got to like no,
Can't leave marks.
can't leave marks. Like a lot of old school phone books.
Yeah, right.
No, but like you're building her relationship with like future men. So like,
Absolutely.
if you're hard on her, like she's gonna date men who are hard on her. And, like you don't want that for her.
And not just that. So that 100%. And
Yeah.
in addition to that, how you treat your wife.
Right.
Like, so it's not just how you treat your daughter. 'Cause
Exactly.
some people will think, like, let me treat my daughter well.
Right.
And then they're mean as fuck to the
Exactly,
wife.
right.
It's like, they're also seeing that.
You're seeing that.
They're sponges.
Exactly.
And it's like, also, let's stop lying to them earlier. You know?
Yeah.
I just feel like kids are smarter than their parents give them credit
yeah.
for.
Yeah.
And it's like, they know.
Yeah.
They can pick up on your energy.
Oh yeah.
If you say you're fine and you're not, they know.
They
They
know.
might not
They
say
know.
the shit, but they might know more than an adult because they're so intuitive.
So like, there's this new thing that we're doing in the Navy. It's like a whole new program that they're trying to push out, and like they're trying to change the narrative about stress, right? Like how like before, like we used to think like stress is bad, right? So you don't want anybody to be under stress, but now it's like more
Stress is necessary to keep us alive.
you got to manage your stress,
Right.
right? So teach me how to manage stress because like stress is good because like
It can help you.
when you go to the gym, right, you're putting your muscles under stress to grow. Stress helps you grow, but you got to be able to manage stress.
Right.
So like being like you said, being honest with kids earlier to help them manage stress, help them manage their emotions. That's a big thing, when you're
Yeah.
parenting. Like the way you manage emotions is going to teach them how they're going to manage emotions.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Tell them early, like you know what, Dad's not having a good day.
Yeah.
You know? Dad is
and it's
stressed out.
okay.
And it's okay.
And that's another thing fathers do. They want to be like a superhero. It's like,
Yeah.
well, they're going to find out one day you're not.
Mhm.
So just start by letting them know you're not, you know?
Right,
Like you're
right.
trying your best. You fuck up. There's something so humbling and like honest about
Yeah.
being like, look, I fucked up here.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
You don't want to be the guy who says, then you're a politician.
Yeah.
It's simple as that.
Exactly.
If you can never admit, like, you know
You're-
what? Maybe I spoke wrong, or maybe I could. They never, ever can do it.
Yep.
It kills me.
Yep. And that's teaching them too, because like you want them to be able to be honest with you. So if you can't be honest with them, like how are they going to be honest with you? Like so admit when you're wrong. Maybe,
Yeah.
Like show them that it's okay to make mistakes.
Right.
If you're always perfect, they're gonna think they have to always be perfect.
Yeah,
too.
and I see it so much in people. It's just like such an unattractive quality. Someone who can't be wrong or has never made a mistake. And every story, they're the hero.
Exactly.
It's just like it's something about it that rubs me the wrong way. It's like, come on, man.
Exactly.
You know,
you gotta be able to make mistakes because you learn from mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about stress. So you mentioned stress. You've heard of PTSD.
Yeah.
Of course. There's something called PTSG, which is post-traumatic stress growth. Which is which is like something that I feel like if you know about PTSD, you should know about PTG or PTSG or whatever. Or no, I guess it's well, either way, because it's like, and it's the idea that you can alchemize that into good, pain to purpose. You know what I mean? Like a lot of my bad things have been catalysts for me to be better.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like it's really easy to look at these things that have happened to us, whatever peak event it is, and say like this was horrible, and look at it as like I'm a victim here. It's like. But you can take that and turn it into something. Yep. You know what I mean? Let me ask you this. Is completely unrelated. Well, let me not ask you that yet. How about stolen valor? Okay.
Okay.
Those videos, dude. You can't get enough of the videos.
Does the Navy have a lot of stolen valor? Or is it mostly Army because that's, I don't know, easier to get?
I've seen more videos about Army than Navy.
Me too.
I'm just thinking of guys like on a boat doing it.
But I think it's public perception because I think when people think military, they automatically think Army. So like
for sure.
So like if I'm gonna steal valor, like I don't think the Navy as a thing. I think Army when I think military, especially if I wasn't in.
Well, because the word soldier, that's not you, right?
No,
that's just Army.
That's Army.
Okay, because I'd be calling everybody a soldier, right? If you're fighting for the military, I'm like you're a soldier. That's my ignorance.
People use that like
kind of like a blanket term.
Yeah, like a blanket term. So like typically people won't get offended if you call them a soldier,
right?
Unless they're a dick.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They may say like I'm actually like the correct term.
Yeah,
so like,
yeah.
Air Force is airman, Marines are Marines.
Get my pronouns right.
Navy sailor, right? Exactly, right. And Army soldier. Right?
What's Coast Guard?
Oh, we don't talk about them.
God damn.
Pew, 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 pew. Shots fired. That's so funny.
Amazing.
I'm glad. Don't even answer.
Love it.
So do you like get mad about them videos or like are those like how do you feel about them?
Yeah, what do you think?
Like would you if you're seeing someone like and you notice it, are you getting out the car and like ripping out their sign out of their hand and shit?
Nah. I don't let about. I don't really care about that kind of stuff.
Your uniform's the all white one, right? That
So-
super white.
Oh, that one is slick though.
We got a bunch
So
of
all
uniforms.
white when bitches are
You
just
could do
We got a bunch
anything
of
in
them. Alright,
that,
so
dude.
like since I've been in the Navy,
you need
I
to know
joined
how to sail because the
2006.
bitches are gonna get so wet when they see you in that white uniform. You're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
have to boat out of that bitch.
So you missed the Johnny Cash days. Johnny Cash's were fucking sick.
What do you mean? Oh, the
They
outfits.
they were all black, man. Like they call them Johnny Cash because they're all black.
Right.
Well, it's like navy blue, but like
Navy's
it's
all black. Really?
Right, that was tough, huh?
It was sick.
And then do you get to wear them out and go get pussy? I mean,
I
wear
mean,
them out.
that's the only way to. That's the only way to
That's
do
why
it.
you get them.
Right. It's like, only reason you join. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so you're allowed to wear it whenever.
So there's certain
there
uniforms
rules?
and certain rules,
Okay.
right? So like they've laxed up because like we used to have so many different uniforms. I've been issued 25 separate uniforms. Since
And
I've
you
been-
get some that you're like, this is kind of sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're like consolidating. So we used to have certain issue uniforms for like certain seasons and certain tasks. So like you had like your working uniform. That's like the Johnny Cash was a working uniform. So you would wear it to work. But you could do certain things outside of work in your Johnny Cash. But like I couldn't like do like recreational things. I couldn't like go out to eat. I couldn't like go to a restaurant or like go to the movies and things like that. I could like stop for gas right on the way home.
Yeah.
I could like stop at a grocery store if I had to like on the way home and like your working uniform. But then you have like your dress uniforms. You could wear them to like anything. So you could wear it to work if you wanted to, but like you wouldn't.
Right.
Like,
That's
it's a
what I was
dress
gonna say.
uniform.
Do you ever wear them like during like anything for the military? Like
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
Because big into tradition, big into like celebrating things. Like
Right.
we have a uniform inspection in next weekend when I go to.
Do you see
drill.
anything horrific like in boot camp or basic training or anything?
Like what?
Like do you see anybody get like raped?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you see any like is there women? It's not. Is it co-ed?
So
How's that work?
It's.
I'm curious
We're
about
in
the
different
male
berthing.
female.
We're in different berthing. So like you could have a division that is co-ed, but like they still sleep
They're not
separately.
sleeping together.
They sleep
Right.
separately.
They're fucking,
Now-
but they're not sleeping
Yeah,
together.
yeah. Like there's people hooking up all the time.
Of course. I
Yeah.
mean, they're human beings.
Yeah,
When people
exactly.
say that, too, it kills me. They're like, even that, like, I work at a big company, and people are like, it's like a high school in here. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime you have like a group of people,
it's always
gonna
like
be like a fucking. People
It's
are
always
gonna be
like high school.
fucking and
That's all
talking
it is.
shit, and there's gonna be rumors, and
There's
there's gonna be
cliques,
drama.
there's groups, there's people getting bullied.
It's
That's
human
all of it.
nature.
It's all of it.
It's human nature.
Yep. So like, I never saw anybody get raped, but like, we did have this one creepy guy in our division, and like he got kicked out. Like,
He was a little rapey.
I don't think he could rape anybody because like, he was a little soft, but
Okay,
like
yeah.
he was definitely creepy. Like, so it's just one big shower. All right, so it's one big shower. We're all showering together.
All right, can you do it a little slower? Can you play some sultry music, please?
I'm gonna let me do
I'll do it
it.
in editing, don't worry.
So it's one big shower, but like he'd be in there just like everybody else's eyes down. Like you're not looking at.
There's
the
an
dudes,
etiquette.
like,
There's a certain
Yeah.
etiquette.
right.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
you have the urinal, right? Like there's etiquette, right? Like at a urinal.
Right. You don't need a Bible for the etiquette.
This guy's
you
like
know.
look, he's like staring at people like
He's a pecker checker.
he's fully clothed, like in the shower, just like watching people shower. And then like there'll be times like in the middle of the night, he's just like sitting up in his rack, just like staring at
This
people.
little shit
Oh,
like
God,
that.
it's
Nah,
just like, yeah, it's
nah,
like-
that's worse than someone. That's
I
worse
was
than
alright
rape.
with the
Yeah,
shower.
so it's
like
like-
it's too much, but like the sitting up in the bed, like
Yeah.
what?
So creepy. Like a man's like waking up in the middle of the night and this dude's just like staring at you. It's
Nah.
like you woke up like I feel eyes on me, and it's just like he's just like
Isn't that the guy from the shower?
the guy from the shower is like watching me.
What did he get out for? Do you know? Remember? Being too soft? Being
I
too
think it was
creepy?
like mental health. I
Right.
think it's mental health. It was
Right.
like people complain because like you can't stare at people in the shower. Like people complain like yeah.
Right.
Dude, in life, like if you have a
Yeah.
hot coworker go by, like you look, but you don't fucking
stare.
make it blatantly obvious.
don't
you know what I
stare.
mean? And that's
Hey,
what
you
this
don't
guy was
follow them
doing.
in the shower. Right?
Yeah, like you can like look and be
You don't do
interested.
that.
But,
That's
like,
a charge.
yeah,
Right?
a little bit more goddamn. I don't know.
So yeah, people complained and they sent him for a psych eval, and they're like, yep.
Yeah. And then in the bear, you're sleeping with a bunch of other. It's bunk beds.
It's bunk beds, yeah.
Bunk beds.
Is it better to be top or bottom?
No.
It depends on who your bunkmate is. So I got an unfortunate bunkmate.
Did they
this guy was-
smell?
Did they
no,
masturbate?
What was their
no,
deal?
he was the hairiest dude, and he shed.
Oh,
Really?
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. I ended up switching bunks.
He had long hair.
he had body hair
That shed.
that shed. He was like a woolly mammoth. This dude was
That's
like
so
he was
weird.
fucking hairy, and he shed all the time. So like I slept under him for
That's
maybe
so,
like
such a weird thing.
maybe like a week before I got my bunk changed because like I would wake up and just like covered in his
what
hair.
the? That's somehow
Gross.
just so. That's such a
Yeah.
strangely specific,
Yeah.
odd thing.
I had to sleep under my sheet to cover my head, just like his hair
From
was
hair.
everywhere. Yeah.
Ew.
So I eventually got switched to a top bunk because I was away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, yeah, it was. I think top bunk could be better. Depending on who your bunkmate is.
Yeah, just preference.
Yeah.
And then there's people snoring in there and shit. I'm
Oh
sure.
yeah. Oh yeah, people snoring.
God damn, where do you beat off? In the shower?
In the showers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it in your rack, but that's just rude.
But you can go shower alone. You don't have to shower with other people.
Yes and no. So we have a plan of the day. So we have like schedule like blocks of time where you could go to the bathroom.
Gotcha.
Like if you have to, like, you know, obviously you have to relieve yourself like during the day, like you have to go to the bathroom. But like shower time was like scheduled.
Right.
So there's free time on
Jerk
Sundays.
off time blocked
Yeah,
out.
blocked out. It's like, you know, you can go ahead like, in the middle of the night. That's like your jerk off time.
Right.
But like the stalls didn't have doors.
Why? I just don't get things
just-
like that.
Yeah.
You know?
So everything's
Just,
out in
just,
the open. So, like,
just tell me why.
So you could go in there. You can beat off in the showers if you want to, but like you gotta
Right.
hope that you're the only ones in the bathroom because there's no doors. There's no privacy.
Was it hard boot camp? I heard it's not that
wasn't-
bad.
It
That's
was.
what I
It was
hear.
pretty. It's pretty easy. It's gotten easier over the years. Like the more PC, like they can't hit you anymore,
Yeah.
which is weird. You know.
Do you have to get in the pool and shit?
You do. You
So
do.
I
which
wasn't
is
sure
like,
if that was all Navy or like the SEAls.
so no.
I just remember Guardian. You remember the Guardian?
Yeah.
I think that was Coast Guard.
That was Coast Guard.
Kevin Costner.
Yep.
Great movie.
It was a great movie.
Ashton
Great movie.
Kutcher, Kevin
Right.
Costner.
Yeah.
You seen it?
What movie?
Coast Guard?
Not many people watching because it's about the
Never
Coast Guard.
seen it.
Yeah. It's irrelevant, actually.
It's irrelevant.
Now that I
It's
think
irrelevant.
about it, fuck that movie.
No, those guys are badass. Like so, like that's
For
like
sure. Those guys, those ones in the
guys,
movie.
Those
I mean,
one guy,
come
those
on.
one guys. Yeah. Everybody else. Yeah. No, but
You gotta get sprayed with the hose and all that shit?
no.
Like in the cold,
No,
they don't
no,
wake
no.
you up in the middle of the night throwing
They
water
don't
at
drown
you.
you
No,
or
that's
anything,
more-
and like
Yeah,
that
that's
kind
what
No,
of
I
shit.
try to, like-
that's more SEAL training. Like
Gotcha, okay.
like SEALs and like spec ops that do like drown proof training. So
Right.
like they drown you to show you
Yeah.
how to survive drowning. So like that is a thing, but it's not like everybody. It's just like the people who are spec ops.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah, but everybody has to do like initial swim call, which is super weird that people come to the Navy boot camp and like
Can't swim.
I don't know how to swim. Like you didn't think it was gonna come up
Yeah.
like at all.
To be
You never
fair,
thought it was
like,
gonna come up.
Not everyone has access to a pool. Like
I can agree with
get
that.
it to
That's
a
fair.
point. To
But,
a
like,
point, though. Like
to a point, but like
shit.
like I said, like
Yeah.
when I joined, like the typical timeline was like when you went to the recruiter, from there to actually going to boot camp was 6 to 12 months. your recruiter should have made sure you knew how to swim. They had 6 to 12 months to make sure you knew how to swim.
Right.
Right,
You
so
already
like,
know you're
There's
going.
community pools.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like maybe you didn't have access at your house, but like they're recruiters. Like it's their job. Like they should have known better. Like they should have like found a way.
Yeah,
to get
prepped
you in a
you a
pool.
Especially like people
Right.
that in the middle of America. That's what
Right,
I'm thinking.
right.
Midwest, like, you know, if you
Right.
don't have a pool, I get it, but like, come on, there's somewhere you can
And, like,
go.
I've recruited you. I've talked to you. And like when you're in depth, like you're going there like once a week, like to check in with your recruiter.
Yeah.
And there's like training and stuff. Like they do like an initial like physical fitness training that they're supposed to do with you. Right? They don't always do it. So you're doing PT with them like once a week.
Right.
Right? It's not a requirement. Like they're not gonna like say you can't go to boot camp if you don't come, but like it's encouraged that you go.
It's a good look.
Right. So like how it's never came up in the 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
Like when we're already doing like physical fitness stuff. Like,
Right.
do you know how to swim?
Yeah.
If not, like let's help you out.
It
Let's
should
get
be
you
one
there.
of the first questions, I feel
Right.
like.
Yeah. Oh, so you want to join the Navy? Cool. Can you swim?
Yeah, first question. Now,
No?
do you see
That's my
guys
question
that
thing.
decided to go SEALs?
Yes. Yeah. So
Were they badass from
oh,
the
that's
jump?
a choice. You don't like get
So-
chosen.
yes and no. You have to go.
Both.
So there's a recruiter for SEALs, and it's called a dive motivator, and you have to you have to qualify to
a
get
weird
into the
name.
SEAL program.
Sure.
Now, well, a couple years ago when I joined, you couldn't come straight in as a SEAL. You had to come in as something else, and while you're in boot camp, you had to apply to be a SEAL, and you go to these dive motivators. You have to do you had to meet their physical fitness requirements,
Yeah.
and you have to swim. Like,
Yeah.
But if you don't make it, or if you get hurt, whatever job you sign up for, you're stuck with. So I had this guy, and he was trying to be a SEAL. He was like 6'3", just like muscle, like built,
Yeah.
big dude.
I don't know if that's
And, like,
good for swimming.
It's not necessarily
It's
good for swimming.
not.
But like you could tell, like he was joining to do something badass.
Right. You wanted to,
But his
yeah.
backup job was a shopkeeper.
Wait, but why?
Because like he was planning on going SEAL. He's like, it didn't matter.
It doesn't even
It
matter.
didn't matter what I picked.
I'm definitely
He's
going to
like,
be
I
a
want to go
SEAL.
SEAL, and depending on what job, because they send you to boot camp, like your schedule to go to boot camp is also based on your job too. Like there's a certain amount of people for certain jobs, certain times.
So you
So-
have to maybe pick something to get in there.
Right. So it's like to meet his timeline, he probably just picked like what was the fastest he can get
Yeah.
in. It's like shop.
He's like, I'm obviously going to be top SEAL in the
Yeah.
country here soon.
He got hurt in boot camp,
Oh.
couldn't finish the program, so he had to have to be a shopkeeper.
And then getting hurt too is not like a mental breakdown. It's
Does
not
he-
like something where you couldn't
So
make the
in
cut.
SEALs don't kick you out. The only way to get dropped from the SEAL program is you have to quit. Like it's voluntary. They don't kick you out.
They
The only
make
way-
you say it.
The only way you stop like involuntary is if
Die.
like you get hurt or you die and like you physically can't complete it. But other than that, it's DOR, drop on request. Like you have to ring the bell. There's a physical bell you have to ring to quit the SEAL program.
You gotta ring a
You gotta ring the bell.
Once he
God.
did heal, though,
It's
could
mental.
he?
Like
Of
you have
course.
to make the decision
Yeah.
mentally and physically do the action to
Yup.
quit.
No, I like
Right?
that.
Yeah, they're pushing you through it. But most people who like drop out of the SEAL program is due to injuries. It's just like the rigors of the program
Right,
is just
right.
it's pretty tough.
Are you allowed to try again though? Like,
Yeah.
You're allowed to try again. You're
So
allowed
if
to try
he
David
again.
got
Goggins
hurt,
did it like
did
fucking
he
40
try
years or
again
something.
after he had gotten hurt?
So I only saw him in boot camp. I don't know what happened to him after, but like
okay.
he could have tried again.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
people who wash out of or who drop from SEAL like end up being in the Master at Arms races. That's like the next best thing for them. If they can't do Spec Ops, they do Master at Arms. So we end up getting a lot of people.
And
Those guys-
Spec Ops is all SEAls for the
so-
Navy,
No, we have 3 different Spec Ops guys.
and they're all badass.
They're all badass. It's like SEALs get talked about the most, but like we got like all badass guys.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
And
Other
they
ones
all-
you don't even know about. Like I don't.
And they all go through the same training.
Right.
Right. It's just like depending on what the job like it really gets specialized once they get through the initial training
Yeah.
and then they go through SEER school, which is after their initial training, which is like your survival, evasion, resisting, all that stuff where they beat you up and like they're allowed to break bones. Yeah. No, like if they're allowed to like they're allowed there's
Instructors we're
yeah,
talking
there's a
about?
certain amount of trauma they're allowed to do because like
Break
they want to prepare
bones?
you like if you get caught in the field.
No,
like,
yeah,
they're gonna be ready for it.
I
Like they're
get it. I just have never heard it said
Yeah.
to me. So it's like,
Like,
there's
all
certain
right,
things
wake,
you
jarring.
do.
wake up, Cadet Compresso or
So,
Compresso.
like-
We're gonna snap your tibia.
The
and then you gotta do
SEALs,
this
like I
run.
hear they have to get drowned or whatever, like a controlled drown situation,
Yeah.
which sucks
It's
enough.
controlled. It's a controlled
But
environment.
like
But, yeah.
a broken bone is
Yeah.
a different thing a little bit.
Yeah.
Fuck.
They're
I mean,
doing
they're-
all kind of shit.
they're nicer now, but like
Right.
you know like
That sucks. I don't like
Yeah.
to hear that. I mean, I
Yeah.
do and I don't. Like,
yeah, like the guys the job that they're doing, like you don't want nice guys.
no.
You don't
No,
want
right.
soft guys.
We want
Of course.
animals.
Yeah, exactly.
But animals who
I
can
want-
be controlled,
I
I
want
guess.
sociopaths that are my sociopaths.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
You need sociopaths on your team.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
agree.
We got a bunch of badass guys. You know.
Yeah, like the most, I'm sure. And then when they start SEALs training, they sleep somewhere else. Like they're removed.
So they have like their own division.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, were you like is boot camp done in Annapolis, or is that just
No,
where
it's
all
in,
the active people are?
It's in Great Lakes in Illinois.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
So we used to have like 3 or 4 locations, and then they consolidated. It's just the one. So we only have one location for boot
Is
camp
that
now.
dead center of the country?
I think it is.
It feels pretty
Yeah.
good now.
I think that's why they picked it, because we had some
Shit.
we had some on each coast.
Yeah.
And then we had Great Lakes in Illinois, and I think we had like a 4th one somewhere. But the only one open now is Great Lakes. It's like but it's always in the biggest one too.
Great Lakes. Why do we keep recycling? We have the Great Lakes, and they're over in Minnesota area. Why do we have to call?
They're like, these lakes are also great.
They're probably fine.
We ran out of Indian names.
Why
this year.
not
Call these
amazing
call
lakes.
these really good lakes.
Awesome lakes.
Let me ask you this: do you think you can fully accept someone and also want them to change?
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, because like you can want the best for somebody and know that they're not their best version, but still accept that they are who they are.
Right. I guess my issue there only comes like, who says I know what's best for them? You know?
Yeah.
I guess if it's your kids or something, that makes sense. But like, well, I guess if someone's doing something that's clearly damaging, right? If they're a heroin addict, like, so I was having this talk earlier, and my coworker was like, "Well, when you were a heroin addict, it's obvious that like you could do better. So I would want you to not do that, even if I accepted where you were." And I'm like, well, maybe and you could play this game all day, but I'm like, well, maybe the heroin was keeping me from putting a gun in my mouth, right? And it worked, right?
Exactly.
Like if you zoom out and see the bigger picture. But then you can go like, well, what if my husband beating me every day? If I zoom out, it's a bigger picture. You know what I mean?
Right,
so
right.
it's like, it's a hard one. What do you think? Do you think you can fully accept someone and then also want them to change? Maybe you can want better for them, but not them to change. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
It's a super tough thing. I
know. That's what I've been thinking about for like 30 hours.
All lives like have their like merit. Like, yeah, the guy who like has this whatever job, even whether it's dead end or like it has like upward mobility, like, and he lives a full life versus you living a fast life that may end early. Like, is one more valuable than the other to society? Maybe, but it's a really tough question because the question is,
tough.
are you living for you? Are you living for like this whole thing we've kind of created as a society of people? And what is more important? I don't know, dude. That's a really tough one.
It is.
That's a tough
a really
one.
good perspective.
Like,
yeah.
But no, I don't think you fully can like, you're not really fully accepting them if you also want them to change.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. If you zoom in enough to like a moment,
sure.
You know, it's like for my job, I say I'm grateful for my job and I fucking hate my job, right?
Yeah.
Which I think you can be both. And I was talking to my therapist about it, and he's like, but if you really zoom in, Justin, he's like, obviously you can do both, right? That's what's common. People think you can. It's like, everyone has their binary thinking, you know? It's like both them bitches.
Right.
But because I feel both of them, so I'm like, I know for a fact you can. And he's like, if you really, really zoom in though to the moment, you can't be both. How you feel about that? Like, if you're really zoomed in, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I can be like, I'm grateful for it, and then while I'm saying that, be grateful. And then, like, 1 minute later, be like, but I fucking hate it. And then mean it then, you know? I think if you zoom in far enough. So I guess the idea my therapist is trying to make, like, if you moment to moment choose gratitude.
Yeah.
People want to always be happy. And the thing is, you really need to always just be, like, regular until something happens, and then you react what it is. Like, the idea of always being a thing is what do we do? It doesn't make sense.
It's very stoic of you.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. To
Well,
always be mad,
happiness
happy,
you shouldn't be chasing happiness.
Right.
Because it's fickle and
you
fleeting.
should seek it out, but like not always. Like,
that's
you
the
need
thing.
all things to
Well,
be
that's
a
the thing.
full
I think
human.
maybe seek fulfillment somehow, satisfaction, contentment.
That's different.
It is. The happiness, I think, is a byproduct of like living right. Doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think byproduct's an actual thing that you can chase, or if you can, I think that you're gonna fail.
Right.
I like it.
Hell yeah. Well, hey, dude, thanks for coming. We've probably been about an hour.
Around it.
All right, we'll take it. Thanks for coming, dude. Wait,
Thanks
hold
for
on.
having me.
You're in law school?
Yeah.
What the fuck you doing that for?
Just like to do everything, man.
I
What
know,
kind
but
of
why-
law?
There's just so many
What
things I
kind?
want to do, and it's just like
You're
so
like, this
little
is
time.
nothing.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you want
knock
to
it out.
defend people, or you want to be the prosecutor? What do you want to do with it?
Or are you right now just learning law?
Or are you just
Learning law
curious?
right now.
That's gonna help you in all kind of facets too.
Right. So I don't even know if I'm gonna practice. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with it
Right.
once I get my degree, but like I want to get it.
For sure.
And what really inspired me, because I've always wanted to be a lawyer. My aunt's a lawyer, and
You're smart. You're well articulated. You know.
I have an aunt who encouraged me, to always seek answers and like always ask questions. And she's a lawyer, so that kind of like steered me in that direction when I was young. But as an adult, what really wanted me to be a lawyer is like going to court, going to traffic court, or going like, I got a buddy who was going through like this terrible divorce and custody battle, and seeing a lot of people get screwed over just because they don't know.
Yeah.
What they don't know.
Right.
They don't know like you can appeal this or you can apply for that or you can or what their rights are. And I'm like, I don't want to be in a position where I don't know what I can do or what I things that would help me or benefit my family. So I wanted to get the information and it's at law school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
cool.
it's definitely an interesting ass topic.
Dude,
You said
pass
aunt,
the bar.
your
We'll
aunt.
get you back as a lawyer.
Yeah.
Why do black people say aunt instead of aunt? You know that? You notice that?
Wait,
Why do black people do things?
I don't know.
On this episode of Ask a Black.
Because that's like the
just
grammatical way to say it. Like you don't say restaurant, you say restaurant.
Yeah. So we're actually wrong. The whites are wrong there.
Right.
The whites are wrong a lot. Yeah. So because you say aunt, right?
Damn, that's actually good. The restaurant, like that's a good point.
Do you say aunt or aunt?
So like I think I say aunt naturally,
Yeah.
but if I'm thinking about
Sure.
I probably try to do the aunt.
Yeah.
Aunt does sound. If you look at the word.
But
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if I like aunt to me for some reason is like royalty or something. It's
Right,
my
it sounds
aunt.
fancy.
My aunt.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
aunt sounds stupid.
Yeah.
Aunt
Aunt does sound stupid,
Yeah.
but that's our problem
Aunt,
with our
my
words.
Aunt
We
Stacy,
keep
my
reusing words.
Yeah.
Great Lakes, Illinois. We already have a Great Lakes.
This is the
They're
problem.
not in Illinois.
Yeah, well, maybe you can get your law degree and then
Defend justice.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Get my CCW.
There we go. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming and spending time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, go like and subscribe. Rate the fucking podcast. Say it's gay. Do whatever. I
Tell
don't care.
a friend. If
Just
you have
engage.
one friend,
Would you
tell
just
one
engage?
friend.
If not, I will literally kill myself. Don't do it for me. Do it for Sheila. Also, I have an email address for the podcast. I can't think of what it's called, but I'll let you know. And then you can email questions. We can ask a black person or any questions that you have anonymously and or not anonymously. So yeah. And if you don't like it, suck a dick.
Basically.
Time.
That was great.